Yeah, it's high time I dive into arguably the most slept on reality show ever to air. My favorite is a Gordon property.
Oh, okay.
Gordon Ramsay, he has a minimum of 84 shows, and that's just exclusively what's on Tubi. Mostly within the cooking realm, they've really stretched it beyond belief, repurposing the same ideas. I don't know how many master chefs there are. There's like Little Black Bake Off where they have African American little people make scones. It's really gotten out of hand, but in the mix from the mid 2010s era was a gem of a show called Hotel Hell, aka Hotel Heezy.
Cute peak gaudy 2000s intro that has a tiger and a goddamn tarantula in it.
It's just Hotel Heezy to me, but we're gonna get it to catch on eventually. Hotel He only lasted 3 seasons. Should have been a minimum of 7 if you ask me. And the idea is Gordon goes into failing bed and breakfasts and hotels and revamps the whole operation within like a comically short period of time. It's like 2 days. It runs the gambit of critique from their culinary game to overall hospitality. When it comes to the owners of struggling or failing hotels, there are such sad cases as people who just inherited like a historic hotel from family and they're incompetent and unfit to run it and it's a disaster. But in more cases, in nearly all cases of people who own these hotels, bed and breakfasts, inns, there's someone mentally ill behind the wheel. Sometimes they're in a partnership and it's someone dealing with a mentally ill narcissistic partner. Sometimes it's just a solo criminally insane person. In most cases, there's a completely delusional narcissistic person trying to run the show. Now, my theory is a lot of these people, this is their version of owning a castle. They fantasized about owning a castle and having a moat. They fantasized about like a drawbridge. But what they got is a beautiful historic inn that they're running into the ground incompetently. A lot of these people also overlapping alcoholics. You got a lot of alcoholics incapable of running a business. They're not paying their staffs. There's semen all over everything. The layup shades.
It's like a mosaic of semen.
Perhaps why this show couldn't last very long. Gordon is forced to take on an unrealistic amount of roles. He is culinary critic. He is hospitality overseer. He is marriage counselor, grief counselor, psychiatrist, mud wrestling referee. He is swingers cult deprogrammer. They're asking too much of this man. It's simple when you can go in and be like, oh, it's dusty everywhere. The furniture's dated. There's bile on everything. This is sorry-ass haddock. But when you have to go in and it's a family-owned business and it's a mentally ill family who violently beat each other, where do you begin? With the interpersonal conflicts, but that's more than Gordon could chew. That is more than he could smash between his big, juicy, strong ass cheeks. Before we highlight some of Hotel He's craziest owners, in every episode, Gordon has to test out the shower at this hotel that he's soon to revamp. You gotta be aware of water pressure. That's important. But in every episode, Gordon gets into the shower with his juicy ass cheeks hanging out. And there's a minimum of 7 seconds long, a shot just on Gordon's ass cheeks as he's hopping up in the shower, getting ready to scrub a dub. And by the third episode seeing it, you're like, this is a clause in Gordon's contract. He's like, I need my cakes out. You need to see my booty cheeks flapping. This is a requirement. We need full out booty meat jiggling as I enter the shower with cracked moldy tile and poor water pressure. Now, based on mind of the owner and dynamic with their employees, some episodes are sadder, darker. This is one of the most fun to me because it's one owner cluelessly running this business into the ground, and he's not so much menacing and conniving. He is just he's just a bumbling fool. You don't often see a textbook innocent bumbling fool. But Brian, the owner of the beachfront inn in Florida, he falls into almost a stock character of a guy. The schlubby, unshapely guy with dry fit polo tucked into his shorts and abnormally large ass. You've seen this guy wandering aimlessly, often has a cell phone holder on the belt. Brian is this exact guy. He roams the premises purposelessly. There are an excessive amount of shots of Brian kind of pondering empty-headedly on a beach or roaming around, like checking out one of the pool chairs. A whole lot of looking as though you're doing something, handling something, but really nothing of note going on. Brian's a seemingly decent-hearted oaf. And his employees know it. He has one guy, he has a buddy of his running the kitchen who's a classic, he's a classic working in the kitchen, pillhead, egomaniac, trying to date 17-year-olds. You can smell it coming off the screen with this character. And Brian has him in charge of food, where they are a seaside Florida restaurant specializing in fish, selling frozen fish sticks and tilapia. Brian has some questionable business ideas in motion. He's selling driftwood in the gift shop. It's not a gift shop, it's where you check in. But he believes your check-in area is also a gift shop, and you should put a price tag on some driftwood you found when wandering aimlessly, looking out at the ocean, hoping a thought comes into your mind. He also has one of the strangest retail innovations I've ever seen. It's a kiosk where you order beach items, like 5 and dime items, like a cheap chair or a Betty Boop towel, but he doesn't have anything on the premise because no one ever uses that. So Gordon orders a beach towel, and Brian has to sprint his goofy ass into town to go pick up a beach towel. It's one of the few episodes where Gordon doesn't even see it through the revamp. He gets so disgusted with Brian's cluelessness.
Let me tell you something, and listen carefully. I'm going. I'm packing my bags, because that is the worst thing we've sent all week. It's overcooked and it's dry. And then you tell me it's raw. Good night.
Another highlight of the series, we got witchy old West Virginia woman. I don't know if she's a witch so much as a decrepit, uncanny, super elderly woman who hoards. She has some qualities that remind me of my mother, just like collecting wicker baskets. She has this enchanting, beautiful, old, historic building. It feels like a place of old lore. And it's stanky. She uses it to hoard her items. She keeps her own clothes in guest rooms. There's bureaus you can't unlock in your guest room because she has old dusty coats and shit sitting in bureaus in other people's rooms. She's another case of a disconcertingly eccentric owner who's out of their mind with very little way to get through to them. So Gordon tries, he's like, hey, you probably shouldn't have your freezers and your food storage outside. You shouldn't be serving hungry man microwavable meals. This should be like a cute dining hall.
There's no getting through to this cook. She's busy hoarding wicker and porcelain dolls, selling beeswax bar soaps and musty traveler hats. Yeah, let me grab a dusty basket to put an apple in. How you doing? I'm looking for a hand-stitched satchel to put my body butter in, and I need a pint-sized fairy-shaped jar of marmalade. Excuse me, ma'am, do you carry elderberry syrup in a straw hat?
Oh, good dear. We can grab a wind-up toy soldier and a sack of russet potatoes.
Are you selling this club of ham? You have an old soda bottle of cinnamon sticks.
What are you gonna hit her with a business plan? Then there's the we're not swingers and owners. This is one of the saddest cases.
It's a couple of mentally unwell, horned up, drunk, arrogant jerks.
They obviously get hammered and beat one another every night and then have aggressive, sweaty makeup sex.
It's time to go bye-bye.
Honey, I'm sorry for things even I didn't do, and I'm sorry for when you yelled at me and hit me.
They berate one another. The woman's on the verge of a breakdown and cannot take criticism. Everything is blaming her husband. Anything towards her is tears. She makes her employees dress up like Wiener Schnitzel girls with their tits hanging out, and they're ready to like engulf a bratwurst without chewing in front of any man who walks through the door. It's setting a bad precedent and an atmosphere, really. And then their employees just have to witness them fighting, and Gordon's like, what is going on here? And he's like, oh, they've been fighting all the time. And everyone's like, yes. We haven't been paid at all yet. So you got drunk narcissists as a couple. They're open and they're denying being an open couple. We know you're sucking off any man with a top hat who comes through the door. Wait until after hours. You're like, where do we put all the microwavable food away? And then you come down to the jazz room and we really start diddling. We stop asking questions and we start fondling. You know that's what's going on with this couple, but they're one of the ones, they are too brazenly unwell in the mind and full of ego to listen to Gordon. They're like, what the fuck, Gordon? Stop critiquing our failing business. They're a sad, frustrating case, these two. And you want to feel bad for this man? He's taken a lot of shit. He has a wife who's breaking down at any second, whether it be like in self-pitying tears or in like violent defense of any criticism. You want to feel bad for him, but you know he's chugging a bottle and giving it right back to her, like comical back and forth. Get a hold of yourself, bitch. You know it has to happen, because otherwise, like, how would he not be 6 feet under right now? How would he not be in a shallow grave? This woman takes off her, like, brace and pulls kielbasi out of her extra pockets and then starts slapping him around a little bit. I don't understand what's going on here. A main highlight of Gordon's harsh review and analysis process before they instate the revamp, he brings guests back who have had poor experiences, and they get to speak up like, yeah, there's pubes on the pillow and people drinking outside the window carrying on all night, and there's green ooze emitting from cracks in the wall, and there's that ghastly little redheaded girl in the corner on that rocking chair, and she's been telling my daughters to draw blood from the innocent. And it's that bit of experiential honesty that does seem to get through to most of the owners, even the most seemingly narcissistic, unbreakable, inflexible people. They're like, yeah, I shouldn't have pube tumbleweeds blowing throughout empty halls. Maybe I should do something about the frequent food-borne illness. And the pictures with moving eyes. And perhaps I should pay my elderly mother, who's been acting as cleaning lady, working 7 days a week. It's a lot of that too, a lot of unpaid labor and using family as unpaid labor. It's all reasonable gripes, like, hey, there should not be a fetus in our toilet tank. But then there's always the overdramatic couple, like, man on behalf of a high maintenance woman who's like, my fiance has allergies and she almost died. The ceiling fan was caked in dust and she went into cardiac arrest. In the case of the abusive couple, the guests call it out. They're like, hey, we actually got word that this is kind of like a swingers hotel. And then the couple like laugh it off with one another, like like when you're obviously in trouble and caught and you're like,
Yeah, you got us. We're big time swingers. Slurping everyone.
I heard I fuck a lot.
we got a classic character here. This woman with the straight across bang bob cut in this Tuscan style Arizona hotel. I don't know what Tuscan is, but I don't think anyone would know if they were to go in this hotel and be told this was Tuscan.
Oh, this is our hotel? I thought it was the public library branch of a police precinct.
This is a case of, similar to, like I was saying, the person who wants to own a castle. They need their own world where they're respected, where people pay attention to them. This woman is, to call her a Cher impersonator would be giving too much credit. She does renditions of Cher songs, one specifically. If I could turn back time. And every night at dinner, she sits by the piano while guests try to enjoy their mediocre rubbery food, and she just goes, if I could turn back time. So she's the sole performer at this hotel, self-appointed, and being Cher-obsessed and attention-focused, you would maybe want to learn more than a few songs, but just every night at dinner, the guests are forced to listen. It wasn't until now it hit me how eerily fitting subject matter of that song is, why this poor sick woman connects so deeply to this one Cher song. She wants to turn back time so badly. She has her dream. She owns a property that other people have to answer to her on. She gets to perform for people every night as they gnaw at some rubbery ravioli. But it's not enough for her. She wants to be young and hot again.
What an untrustworthy, backstabbing son of a bitch you are!
There are controlling monsters who are at least a little tuned into what they're doing and how they're impacting others. And then there is a malevolent, malicious, acting aloof, dork kind of guy. This is the owner of a... He bought his old schoolhouse. He bought a school and made a bed and breakfast. And as soon as you get clued into this guy, you put together, he bought this school out of vengeance. He was probably tormented by bullies, and he's like,
one day I'm gonna own this whole school. One day I'll own this school.
And that is this guy who has his wife in $1.5 million in debt. He bought this schoolhouse without telling her. He calls her up and he thinks it's funny. He thinks her suffering is funny. He calls her up one day, honey, I bought a hotel. Almost $1 million. Welcome to death. Welcome to my world of sad control and shrinking sense of self. This one is sickening. He's your quintessential, I wanted to own a castle guy. Wait till you all see me.
Wait till you see me owning the school. The #1 tourist destination in town.
He coins himself head chef and can't make anything. And he does murder mystery dinner parties that lose money for him and his smelly, hairy, non-sexually active friends. Come over, I'm playing Sherlock again. Hey, do you think I could play Sherlock one of these upcoming murder mystery parties? Don't make me laugh. Immune to criticism. And starts... No one... And when Gordon critiques him, no one jumps to the prospect of violence like he does. He's lucky we're on camera. I'd clean his clock off. This man is too maddening to even watch. In his case, like in many, you're not even sure why Gordon's there, investing so much money and time into helping these people. It becomes, in these cases, about the poor employees or the sad wife being dragged through this nightmare. This couple dynamic is one of the more disheartening, because this woman's like, we're $1.5 million in debt, and I'm forced to live in a hotel in a sexless marriage and work every day of my life for this failing business. And he's like, shut up and bring the hors d'oeuvres. My friends and I are solving a murder. There's a trio of dullard, douchey guys who own this like all beautiful spot in Sacramento near wine country. They're partiers. It seems like a local authentic version of a TGI Fridays, where aging sad people can come have jalapeno poppers and get inebriated and grind up on other people who are in committed relationships. One of the guys is always like grinding up on these like sad taken women. I get the feeling it's frequented by wives of servicemen or emotionless laborers. I gotta get out of your house this afternoon. And they go down to this bar. They have a couple mozzarella sticks, and then these like young-ish for the area, not half bad-looking 30 guys start thrusting up on them and pouring shots in their mouth.
I am the fun captain.
Describing it that way, I fully understand the appeal. The fellas are running this place like a hornier than usual Applebee's. Like if you turned up the horniness in an Applebee's bar seating area, encouraged people to be drunker and left them with less inhibition. But one of these fellows, he's a character you don't see in society anymore. And he's like the best friend in a 2000s movie who's like has 3 brain cells left but a heart of gold. And he really does mean well. During the time of filming, he's the current employee of the month because everyone else had been cycled through already for employee of the month. So Gordon's like, is that you, employee of the month? He's like, yeah, that's me, exemplary.
Yet.
I see. You just put yourself in, and what are the owners going to say about that?
I'm one of them. I'm Brian.
Stop it.
Yes.
Come on.
Hey, the other owners got their shot on there.
You're the owner.
Really lovably dim-witted, whereas the other 2 guys are kind of just happily drinking, slutting it up while the business tanks. And once it's brought to this dumb guy's attention that the business is a disaster, he's like, I'll take charge. Let me assume head management duty, and I'll turn this place around, Gordon. And you want to believe in him, and it is heartful and endearing. There's a gleeful, excited twinkle in one of his eyes that gives you promise, and then the other eye's like vacant and looking off in another direction.
One nation, motherfucker!
An infuriating situation in Minnesota. Another example of historic landmark place, but 2 daughters, two women running it. The one woman's father bought it for her because she was a spoiled girl, and she begged like, Dad, I wanna and she even said she like begged, and finally he's like, all right, I'll get you a hotel, honey. And now they're running a slum. I knew it was a bad sign when there's ATMs in all the lobbies. You might as well sell some vape coils. Put a needle deposit box in there and a condom machine. I'm surprised there's not a vending machine that sells lube and brass knuckles. I'm surprised there's not a little tattoo corner with one man in a sleeveless leather vest. You're like, hey, can I get a butterfly? He's like,
I could do snakes, I could do flaming dice. Those are your options.
I'm shocked it's not all like put a quarter in vibrating beds and water beds. Granted, all the sharp objects that the guests, I presume, bring in, you probably can't have water beds in there. Oh no, another butterfly knife stabbing another one of our water beds. Fill the crevice with silicone-based lube. All the copious amounts of lube we have, let's put it to use. Of all the places, of all the inns, bed and breakfasts, etc. highlighted on this show, this one gave me the sleaziest feel. It is where you bleed out beside a sex worker. It is where you have your organs harvested by a Hmong person. I don't know much about that cultural group, so I'm sorry. Every employee, understandably, is like, yeah, these girls are stupid assholes. They have no business running a hotel. They don't even want to run it. And then Gordon finally confronts them, and once the one sister who didn't beg for the hotel realizes that no one else believes in this business or wants a part of it, she's like, yeah, I don't want to be in this. And then the other girl who just cries constantly, she's like, I just want to be in this city and living out my 30s. And Gordon's like, okay, so do you not want this business? Do you not want to own this beautiful hotel and try to make it work? And she's like, no. So then I guess they're relieved of duty. It almost pisses you off how unfair it is. Like, being handed this, like, instead of just like, Dad, can I maybe get a car for my big move after graduation? It's like, Dad, buy me this big landmark. And he does. And then you treat it like shit. And then now when it all hits the fan, you're like, I don't want to own a hotel anymore. It's just like, okay, yeah, you don't have to. There are uplifting stories, like people in debt who are trying, who just maybe don't have the know-how or the resources, and Gordon comes in, redoes it all, works with the staff, changes the menu, changes interior of the hotel and their practices and principles, and it's a happy story. The main, if only, detriment to what he's doing, he comes in and takes out some like beautiful mid-century modern furniture, and he's like, bring in the Wayfair truck. Bring in the Wayfair. They bring in like a shipment of Wayfair stuff, and it's all just like cheap display model interiors. Like it's if you were on TJ Maxx's website trying to design a room. I don't know if TJ Maxx has a website. They look like pictures from like a TJ Marshall's home catalog. They go a little bit cheap, but I guess when you're preventing fights and saving a marriage and getting someone in detox, you can go a little cheap on the decor.